Jill, founder of Kids Baking Club. We are making the perfect pie crust for all of your pies this holiday season. I've been making this pie crust at least 100 times or more. I am the official pie maker for all the holiday gatherings with my family and friends. I love making pies. I am actually a professional cake decorator, but I have to say, I would eat pie over cake any day. How about you? Don't you guys love pie? Now pie crust is also for savory things too. It doesn't have to just be for sweet pies. It could be for a quiche or other things like that. Remember to like this video because then it helps other people see the video as well. Really does help. And don't forget to like our page, our YouTube channel. Make sure that you come and join us. We really love having you. All right, so what you need for this recipe is flour. And I'm using an all-purpose flour where you need 1 stick of butter and it has to be cold. That's the trick. You need 2 teaspoons to 4 teaspoons of sugar depending on how sweet you want your crust. I always put a little bit of salt just to cut that down, usually 1 teaspoon of salt. And then with this recipe with 1 and 1/2 cups of flour, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of cold milk. Cold milk, cold butter, it makes all the difference in all the world, okay? And you are gonna need a little bit extra flour to flour your board to roll it out. Are you guys ready to get started? Hey, if you are not part of Kids Baking Club, our October box is here. It is called Pumpkin Patch Party. It is packed full of fun recipes for the kids to do and all of the baking tools. With all of our baking kits, the kids start collecting cookie cutters. And the one in this box this month is so cute. It looks like a little candy wrapper. And the kids are going to be making trick-or-treat candy cookies, which are amazing. But you could also use this for your Christmas box too, because you could do like a peppermint candy twist. And we always provide all the decorating videos for all the kids to know exactly how to do that. So, all right, let's get started. Okay, you need to get 1 and 1/2 cups of flour and then cold butter. Now, it looks like this is a stick of butter, but what I did ahead of time is I actually cut these into small, little baby cubes. You can see them here. Almost looks like a little Rubik's Cube. And then what you're going to do is break that all up. So it's just all, now if you don't do all the little cubes, you're just gonna cut them into little pieces. Oh, and they fly too. Let me get those pieces because I want all of it. I want to make, before I do that, I'm gonna put that all in there like that. And I'm gonna add my 2 teaspoons of sugar on top of that. Just sprinkle it over. And then my teaspoon of salt. Okay, now before you add your milk, we want to mix this all together. Now you could use your hands, but I'm going to use a pastry blender. And you're just going to blend it together, not too much. You don't want to get it over mixed. What you're trying to get, as my mom always used to teach us, you want little pea-sized pieces of butter. Why is that? Because when it bakes, it actually makes it a really flaky, buttery crust. And we're just gonna put in 2 tablespoons of cold milk. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna attach to the gluten in the flour, and it's gonna moisten it up a little bit. 1 more tablespoon, wow. I'm going to have to change that in the recipe on the blog because I have this recipe on our blog. If you go to KidsBakingClub.com, it actually has the recipe there. I will change it to 4 tablespoons of, there, okay. All right, now I'm going to put this into a big ball. Using my hands. Not too much because I don't want it to get too soft because my hands are 98 degrees, so that can kind of start to melt it. It's like 98 degrees outside today where I live. All right, so I'm gonna put this all in a ball. Now, if you're not going to make your pie crust right away, you want to wrap this into a Ziploc bag or saran wrap or an airtight container so that you can make sure it stays cold in the refrigerator but doesn't dry out with the cold in the open air of the refrigerator. All right, so we're gonna make this into one big ball. And then, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take some flour and spread it out. This is definitely a hands-on recipe for sure. So you're gonna rest it here. Now this makes one recipe for the bottom crust. If you're going to be doing a top crust, then you definitely want to double the recipe. All right, I'm gonna place that down. Kind of feels like bread, for sure. All right, I'm gonna flour my rolling pin. And you always want to start in the middle. Sometimes people start from the outside. What happens is it doesn't make it even. And you just kind of start in the middle and roll out. Start in the middle, roll out. And you're just gonna kind of keep doing that for a while. And just keep rolling. If you need to flour your board, of the house. All right, that's pretty good. I have one little spot. I want to bring it over here. Okay. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over, and this now becomes my little template. And I'm going to go about a ½ an inch over, like that. And then go ahead and put those to the side. One thing I like to do with these extra pieces, I'll get like a little cookie cutter, and then I'll use that to put on the sides of the dish, and then that bakes with it too. Okay, now you're gonna flip that over, and then using a knife, kind of get at the bottom here and make sure all of this is up so it doesn't stick to the pan. You fold over this way. And then you fold over this way. Whoops, get my little piece here. Fold over this way. Oh. Don't worry about all that. No one will know. And then what you do is you take this in the pan and you put it in like this, okay? Then you fold that over like that, and then you take this and fold over this way. In any area that kind of had a problem, which I'm having a little few problems, which is okay, just fill it in. And one of the things about baking, kids, is things aren't always perfect. I'm going to take some of these pieces and I'm going to patch it up. It's going to be just fine. No one is going to see that. If anything, they'll get a little bit more crust, which is awesome. So what I do is then I fold over, I just pinch right here, like little pinches, and then using my thumb and my pointer finger, I just do a little bit of a pinch like this. And what that does is it crimps it, kind of go like this, like a little claw. And what that does is it crimps it both on top to make it look like there's little ridges on top. Let's say I'm going to make a cold pie, like a chocolate mousse pie or a chocolate silk pie or a lemon meringue pie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake this first. I'm going to put it in the oven at 325 degrees for 25 minutes. What I'll do is I'll poke like little spores right here, so it gives it some air to breathe so it doesn't puff up. And then when I bring it out, then I'll cool it and then add all of those cold ingredients, stick it in the refrigerator or the freezer, and ready to serve. If you're making pumpkin pie, pecan pie, apple pie, you're not gonna bake this first. You're actually gonna put your filling in there and then bake it with the pie. Still at 325 degrees, but it's not going to brown as it would if you had just baked it just normal, because you've got the filling in there. And usually an apple pie takes anywhere from 40 minutes to 50 minutes to bake, but make sure you look at the ingredients and make sure you look at the recipe to know how long you're supposed to leave it actually in the oven. So that is our perfect pie crust for any time you're going to make pie. I'm actually going to make a pumpkin pie today and bring it to a friend down the street. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I forgot one more thing. Let's say you're going to cover, let's think of an apple pie. Let's say you're going to cover the apple pie with the crust on top. One of the tricks I do is I go ahead and layer it over the apples. Then you go ahead and score it around. But what I do is I take a little bit of water in a bowl, and I use my pastry brush to actually put a little bit of water over the top. Then I take some sugar and I sprinkle it over. And what happens is while it's baking in the oven, it makes the crust look really shiny and pretty. It's beautiful. Looks like you just bought it at a bakery. That's a little trick I wanted to tell you. Okay, we will see you next time, and have a wonderful day and happy pie making. See you next time.